welcome back. Josh Gaines here with part 2 of working in Azure, the computing and the network. Last video, we were able to set up a resource group in Microsoft Azure in the cloud, and also we're able to set up and build 2 virtual machines. Now, I did want to make sure to go ahead and pull that up because there's a little update that I noticed. So let me go ahead and pull up my Microsoft. I found a little issue. I was a little eager the first time around. Go directly into the resource groups. RG Lab 2. I'll go ahead and sort these by types. Actually, before even sorting it, in the first video, or the first time kind of creating it, I had 12 resources, or 12 records, I should say, excuse me, and only should have 11. I was a little zealous and went too fast and going into creating the second virtual machine. And go ahead and sort that. There we go. And so you should have 2 of everything, except the only thing you should have 1 of is the network. And I went so fast the first time that the VM virtual network wasn't officially created just yet. So Microsoft Azure defaulted to go ahead and create a second network. So it had my VM1 on the VM1 network, and then it had, which is virtual machine, I had my virtual machine 1 on the virtual 1 network, or VM1 network, and then I had my second virtual machine, or my Linux computer. It had that one on a separate network. And so what I was trying to get to set up was to eventually just speak both to across the same network, and so certain things weren't responding correctly. So that's when I knew I had an issue. I had to go back and troubleshoot a few things. So I went back step by step and make sure to see exactly what the issue was, and then I was able to find I had 2 different networks. So I went ahead and set it back up. So just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. So take your time. And the funny thing about it is, I was even saying, make sure you take your time, don't go too fast, everything goes so smoothly. And sure enough, I myself still went a little too quick. But just want to make sure you guys are aware of that. It happens to everybody. But as long as you're able to troubleshoot it, find the root of the issue, and correct it, you're good to go. Alright, so with that being said, alright, we're going to go back over here to home. So in this part, we're going to be pulling up the actual virtual machines through remote desktop and being able to see some traffic coming through. So for those of you who work out of Windows, you guys can go ahead and pull up your remote desktop. If you just type in remote desktop, and I'll just show you a quick image. Depending on what version of Windows you guys work out, it's going to look something like these, like this, probably right here, remote desktop connection. Maybe it might look like something like this, depending if you're Windows 11, 10, maybe if you have an older version of Windows. But for us, for those of you like myself who work out of Apple or Mac, you're going to want to go to the App Store. So go ahead and pull up the Apple Store, or the apps. And you're going to want to type in Microsoft Remote. That should be the first one right there. And click that. Alright, I'm going to go right here. Go to open, download, install, all that good stuff. Probably should say get, but mine says open because I already did that. So mine's right here. Alright, so we're going to add a PC. Alright, so at this point we're going to go get the IP address. Alright, and we're going to go to, this is going to be for virtual machine 1. Okay, so we're going to go virtual machine 1. Alright, we're going to copy, this is the public address. It was already copied. Put it in there. Alright, put a little nickname. We'll go ahead and put in VM1. Click add. Alright, double click. And this is where we're going to enter in the username and password. Remember, last time I told you guys to make sure you write it down to keep it simple for us. or for myself, I would have kept it the same for both. So I'll go ahead and enter mine in. JBDC, Josh Big Daddy Canes. All right, password. All right. Give us a little pop up here. So I can do those things, but we're gonna turn all these off for right now because we really don't need those features. All right, there you go. So this is the official Windows. You can see it's getting everything there set up for us. All right, and so if for whatever reason if it gets a little confusing for you, or if you get a little panicky, you can always minimize it, and you can see here's the Mac still running in the background. All right, so what we're gonna do is we want to make sure pull up Microsoft Edge, which is their browser. It's gonna ask if you want to share data and things like that. So it is what it is. Let's continue without sharing. We're gonna download. No, we don't need any of that. All right. So just so that way we can make sure we access. We're just simply going to google.com. All right. So what we're looking for is something called Wireshark. You may already be familiar with it. You may already have it. But that's what we're going to do. So we're looking for the Wireshark download. All right, it's looking good. So it should be the first one of the top ones. We're going to go to installer. Give it a second there. Most of the time it just pops up here. Let's see if it popped up. No, hasn't popped up just yet. Okay, no worries. Just go to open file. There it goes, okay. So next, we're just gonna keep all the defaults. Next, install, minimize that window. And this is gonna do it pretty quickly for the most part, but it's going to take a little bit of time. So it's there, it's running. Doing what it has to do to set it up. Okay, I agree. Install. Flash there. This one real fast. Alright, finish again. Okay, so it has another part. Oh, going like Roadrunner. There we go. It's almost done. Let's see if it has a little bit more. Get up and go. There, boom. It was like Speedy Gonzalez still that last little part there. All right. So next, we're gonna keep all the defaults. Install. All right, here we go. Go. We're going pretty quick for the most part on this one. I don't think it should take too long. There we go. Speedy Gonzalez. Alright, is already installed. Reinstalled possibly with different options. Yes, sure, why not? Alright, I agree. Okay, going pretty fast there. All right, finish. Go here to the menu. So we can go down to Wireshark, open it up. Or of course you can always search it down here. Go to Ethernet, double click that. Alright, as you guys can see, this thing is just spamming, as some people like to say. But there's a lot of traffic coming through here. A lot of traffic. Another thing that we're going to want to make sure we pull up is going to be our PowerShell. Just want to type in there, power. There it is, Windows PowerShell right here. I'll click that. This is what we're going to use to be able to send commands and communicate with our virtual machine, numero dos. Alright, so like I was saying before, we're seeing a lot of traffic come through, and of course what we're going to do is we're going to put in ICMP command right here, and that should stop everything that's going on. Alright, so there we go. As you can see, in a few seconds, nothing's coming through. It stopped it. Now, ICMP stands for Internet Control Message Protocol. Doesn't operate off any ports. It's so that way we can communicate between the two machines, and so actually we're going to be using ping to communicate between our virtual machine number 2, and it's pretty straightforward. Literally sounds exactly, or excuse me, it's spelled exactly the way it sounds, P-I-N-G. Right, and then we're going to want to make sure that we put in the private IP address for virtual machine number 2. So what we're going to do, I'm going to minimize this a little bit. Come back to Microsoft Azure and click Home. Go back to Virtual Machines. Remember, we need it for virtual machine 2. All right, so then we want to scroll down to the private IP address. Alright, here it is. Alright, so we can highlight that, copy it, come back over here, make it big again, and then paste it in. Okay, I forgot to put a little space there, so let's space and then paste it in. Alright, there we go. So I was able to put that in, and if we go ahead and click enter, alright, so we see it's working. Move this over a little bit over here to the side. Expand this a little bit. Okay, so we can see that it sent some packets. Looks like a number 4 packets, received 4. We lost 0, and it did it literally in milliseconds. And this was the information here. All right, so it looks like that's between the two. Now, what we can do is also we can ping websites as well to get information. So let's do that next. All right, so go back, ping. Once you're there, you literally can just hit the up arrow, and I'll go back to the last command that you did. And you can backspace. At this point, we're just gonna ping Google. Let's go www.google.com, right? And then we can go ahead and if you want to go enter there, you can also put the IPv4 by putting a -4 there. Alright, so we see it coming through. Alright, so once again, 74 packets. We see the difference in the private IP address between virtual machine number 2 and Google IP address, the 172.253.122.147. So once again, you see they're working, and keep in mind you can do this for any website. We can always change the website later on, but let's go ahead and set up a perpetual ping. So what this is going to do, it's literally perpetual, is just a fancy word for just almost never ending. And there's a command that we want to put in here. So go back up. All right, and so this time what we want to do, let's go back up again on the arrows. So I'm gonna go ahead and make it space dash T, hit enter. Now you're gonna see it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All right. And so you see, this is literally back and forth. It's never ending. Now, one thing we can do to get it to stop, well, two things. We can put in Control C and it'll stop here in PowerShell. But what we can do is we can make an update to that virtual machine and create a firewall or an update to the firewall to not allow this. So what we're going to do is really quick, while that's still going, go ahead and minimize this. Go over here up to the side. Okay. There we are. So I'm gonna make sure, just for fun, we're gonna make sure we're gonna go all the way back here. Alright, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do it from the search field. We haven't done the search field. So we're gonna search network security. Let's see, network security. Okay. Boom. Alright, so we got network security groups. We're talking virtual machine number 2. Let's click it. Alright, and this is inbound. Alright, so we see these rules that have already been set up. So what we want to do, let's go ahead and set up another rule. Alright, so we want to keep pretty much all of this the same. What we're looking for, because remember this is a ICMP, so we're going to go to the ICMP protocol. If you notice to change this, so there's the any, the ICMP, change that to an asterisk, and then we're going to deny. So let's just click deny, you click add. It's creating the security rule, and we'll see at what point the rule is created. If we come back over here, let's see what's going on. Let's move this over. There we are. So we see, now we see it's updated. You see that? The request timed out. It's still pinging because we haven't stopped. It's going to be perpetual, excuse me. So that's continuously going. But now we're seeing that it finally updated and it's no longer getting anything back. Right? So now keep in mind, if you want to change it right back, no sweat off your back at all. Just go ahead and let me back here minimize this. Apologies. Okay. A little smaller there. More feasible. Can minimize this right here. Alright. Come back over. Alright, if you'll make sure it's already there, but we can always refresh it for a reason if it doesn't show up for you. You can see it's the ICMP protocol. So we can do this one or two ways. Alright, we can select it, delete it, and then update it, and don't you know, guess what, it's going to allow it to go right back through. Or you can open it up and just simply, or you can simply change it back to allow. But for me, let's just go ahead and delete it. Yes. Okay, so it's been updated. Let's go back to the virtual machine. Let's see how long it takes to update. Because the perpetual is still pinging, still timed out. It just can take a little bit of time. I'll say about 30 seconds or so. There we go. All right, it's starting to get responses again. So just like that. So like I said, you can delete it, you can go back into it, hit allow. For me, the delete button's already there, so for me, I think that's a little bit quicker in my opinion, but to each his own. Let's see. All right, so next what we can do is we can make sure to go ahead and stop officially this pinging process, or like I said, it will keep going. So you can hit Control C and it'll stop that process. Next, what we want to make sure that we do is we want to make sure to go ahead and work with SSH. Also, one thing, if for whatever reason, if you guys want to do any more reading or more background on the Azure network security groups and the firewalls, you can always actually do a little bit of reading there. Give you a little quick resource: Azure network security groups. There it goes. Microsoft Docs. All right. Let me zoom out a little bit. So, a little bit more information there for you. Alright, apologize, I'll skip right over that one. But yeah, there you go. If you want to find it, it's straight from Microsoft, a little bit more reading. I apologize if you hear my dog Gambit going crazy in the background. But no worries. So, what we're going to do now, go back here, go ahead and maximize the screen. Alright. So now I went ahead, we can clear this out and we can update it to SSH. Alright, so as of now, nothing there happening. And for those who are interested or might want to know the name, SSH is for Secure Shell. So what we're going to do, come right back here to our good friend PowerShell, and we're going to make sure we type SSH, and then we're going to make sure we put in our username, which for you obviously may be different unless you're exactly copying everything I did, which teach us own. Alright, and then we're going to make sure we put the @ symbol, and then it's going to be the IP address. Okay, so just so be pasted there. Sure enough it is. And then we're going to go ahead and click enter. Alright, it says, are you sure you want to continue connecting? But keep in mind, we also got a little bit of activity already, so it's already preset up for the SSH. And we're going to simply type yes, we do. Alright, so now it's going to ask for our password. Now, I'm going to go ahead and type my password, but you're going to notice something a little interesting. I'm not going to be able to see it. So we're just going to make sure we put in there confidently. If you do mess up, then of course you can always try again or just backspace. But it doesn't show you the password. So I'm going to put it in mine in. Alright, and then we're in. Now keep in mind, for SSH, and since it's officially connecting us, anything you type is going to spawn a little bit of activity. I'm literally typing random letters and you're seeing more activity come in. Let me go ahead and expand this for you guys. I'm sorry, every time I minimize the window it does that, but I can go ahead and backspace, and even then it's spawning more traffic there. Alright, now I did also want to make sure you're aware, of course, since it's a Linux computer, with this officially being connected, we want to make sure that we actually give it a few different Linux commands. Um, so we can go ahead and we can type uname, username, space dash a. Alright, and so that's going to tell you a little bit about the operating system that it's running, and you should be able to see it's Ubuntu, or aka Linux. See right there. So Ubuntu, Linux. Remember, if you go back to the video, that's exactly what we made sure to select. If you want to print the working directory, you would just want a simple pwd, enter. Real quick, it gave you the only directory as far as usernames or users, which is myself, JBDC, Josh McNetty Canes. Also, if you want to list the folders, the files in the current directory, that's not too bad. So go ahead and put ls space dash las th. Press enter. So you'll see those are different folders that we have. Not too many, obviously. These are virtual machines, we don't have too much on them, but once again, obviously, if you're in a different setting, I'm sure, and you're accessing it, you're probably going to see countless files and folders, but that's just communicating between the other virtual machine. If we want to add a file, we can do something very simple. Very simple command called touch. I will add a file called hi.txt. So real simple text file. There we go. Alright, so it added it. Now, if you don't believe me, what we can do, go back up to the last command. Remember, so you just gotta hit the up arrow, and so it can list it again. And we see right here, it added that file. This was the files and folders we had last time. Now we have that hi.txt file that we just created, all from our good friend PowerShell. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty nice, pretty nifty, if I must say myself. And of course, if you just want to close down this, you just got to type exit. I love that command. Very simple, straight to the point. Hit enter, and you're out. All right, so simple as that. So let's go ahead and clear out all this SSH. All right, let's clear that here. You can hit the little green icon. Continue without saving. We can back that out. If you wanted to, at some point, you could also switch that up and go by the ports, because it uses port 22 with TCP, but maybe we'll do that in one of the other ones. Let's do DHCP. So DHCP, enter. Obviously nothing going on just yet, but no, do not fret, my pet. Now keep in mind, this is to automatically assign an IP address, and this is going to happen in the background. Now I also want to make sure that you're aware that with this DHCP, which stands for Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, it's going to force a renewal of the IP address in PowerShell. So once again, we just got to go back, go ahead and do it to it, nothing to it, but to do it, DHCP. There's nothing to it but to do it absolutely wrong, unfortunately, in this case. I type in the command for DHCP, and that was not correct. What I should be typing in here is ipconfig space /renew. Now, I do end up remembering here it's supposed to be ipconfig /renew, but I forget the space. And so you see me typing it in here, but I forget to put the space again. So once again, user error. and it gives me more black and red. And typically I love black and red because I'm a Bucks fan, but not in this case. So I ended up having to regroup, to retreat, regroup, and then later I come back and I figure out what the issue was. But that's why it was showing up black and red. All right. So just like that, we're back. Um, I was able to make sure on the DHCP, um, make sure to type it in correctly, the command ipconfig space /renew to make sure it renews and the IP address. And also keep in mind that through Azure, Microsoft Azure, it will automatically assign the IP address, and Azure actually has a DHCP server inside of the virtual network, so it's nice that it's able to do that. But no worries there. So we saw just a little bit of traffic, nothing major. We can move on to the next one. So let's clear this out. Configure without. There we are. Backspace. All right, next we're getting set up for DNS. All right, and that stands for domain name system, of course. Excuse me. We already see a little bit of that, but we're gonna make sure we can set up a different command through PowerShell. All right, so what we're gonna do, I'm gonna type in ns look up, and what we're gonna look up, let's go back to good old Google. All right. Now, before we had a little bit of activity, now we got a lot. So you can see the activity that's there on DNS. Now, keep in mind it's pretty much asking what is Google's IP address, right? So we're seeing the VM2s, we're seeing Google's 168.63.129. So they're communicating back and forth. Let's see. And of course, if we want to click to see what information, you always can. And looks like there's just a whole lot of different things here from Google. Oh wow. Okay. Well, if you wanted to switch that up, you could, of course, use the ports. Let's try that. Why not? Let's go UDP dot ports. All right. Equal. All right. Equal 53. So you see it's the same exact information all coming from Google because it's the same DNS. That's reports they run out of 53 from UDP. But if you don't believe me, let's just put in a different command. Let's think of a different website. Okay, let's go ns look up Disney.com. Oh, I'll make sure put it in correctly. www.disney.com. Enter. All right. So we're seeing a few pieces of information there from Disney come in. All right, we're scrolling. You can still see the Google ones, but the Disney is still definitely there as well. Disney. So we can see that it's not the DNS letters specifically, but it's still the same command, as you can see all right here, DNS protocol. All right, so last but not least, let's go ahead and clear some traffic here. RDP. Alright, so RDP, and of course, for those probably already are aware, what RDP stands for is Remote Desktop Protocol. Now, I'm sure a lot of you can almost guess already, once we click enter here, that we should get plenty of traffic going back and forth because we're literally using Microsoft Remote Desktop. So let's click enter. All right. There we go. And funny enough, nothing's happening. It's clear. All right, let's go try that again. RDP. Equals 3389. Alright, sure enough, that one worked that way. We're getting plenty of spam, but funny enough, it's not working with the RDP. But we are seeing it with that port and using that protocol, and all types of information is coming back and forth there. Alright guys, so once again, just want to make sure to remind everyone, once you're done, whether it's the lab or done using the remote desktop, we want to make sure we'll go ahead and exit. Keep in mind, you can exit out, you can log out officially, however you want to do it. Quit remote desktop and Mac, either way is fine, but the bigger concern is actual Microsoft Azure, because this is the cloud, because they charge you for everything that you keep on the cloud. You want to make sure that once you are done using it, that you delete it if you do not need to keep it on the cloud, because it can rank up a pretty penny, especially if you forget it, that it's there for a week, 2 weeks, a month. I'm pretty much done with the lab at this point. I don't need to keep it on there unless I want to continue practicing it. So I'm going to go ahead and go through my resource group. I'm going to go in, I'm just going to delete resource group, type of resource. Alright, so we're just going to copy paste, delete. Since there's 2 virtual machines in there, obviously, and a lot of other resources, it's going to take a little bit of time. But while that's doing that, we can go back here and make sure we delete this other resource group. Delete. Alright. Copy, paste, delete. Alright, like I said, it's going to take some time to make sure all those things get deleted. And of course, delete the resource group, so we got a notification there. So let's refresh to see what we got. Still have my $2 credit. We'll see how long that lasts after today. So we can even check by going into resource group. Alright, so delete the one. It's probably still working on the other one. So it looks like there's 9 records. Initially we had 11, so it's still working. So let me go ahead and hop out. Give an opportunity to do what it's doing. But I'll go ahead and end the video here. I just want to thank everyone who watched. If you guys want to like, comment, if you want to subscribe, share it, that'd be awesome. And of course, if you have any constructive criticism for me, I'm always here, more than willing to learn more. Anything that you see I'm doing wrong, because I'm still learning. I'm more than happy to read the comments and to take everything into consideration, because I'm really eager to learn more and more of this IT world, and especially the cloud, because the cloud is ever changing. But thank you again, guys. Have a great day.